Hey, it's Matthew Decker with Leveraged Wealth Management. Today, we are having another Takedown Thursday episode where we take down a bad index universal life insurance policy design, show you what's wrong with it, then show you how to fix it. These are some of the most complicated life insurance products in the industry, and they're very difficult to manage after they're set up if they're done poorly. And so it's extremely important that if you're considering an index universal life insurance policy for tax efficient supplemental retirement income, you need to make sure it's done right out of the gate, because once it's done, it's done. And that's why we do these Takedown Thursday videos, to educate the public on the right way and the wrong way to do these products. So I'm excited about today because today we get to actually go after one of my favorite companies, which is Allianz. They're a big company, been around for a long time. They do a lot of business, but I say this all the time, the design of the product is actually more important than the product that you're using. The design has to be the right way. And so we're going to attack this policy design. We got it a couple months ago, back in October of 2020, and it's been sitting around. We had to recreate it just to kind of keep everything anonymous. But what we were sent was this Allianz policy. And when I got it, the first thing that I looked at is, wow, that's a really large premium here inside that first year, $128,000. And normally, when we see big premiums like this going into policies, it's almost always a 1035 exchange. And that's not a big deal. 1035 exchanges happen all the time, and money's coming over from another life insurance policy. It's considered seasoned money. It gets better treatment from a death benefit standpoint and a fee standpoint. And so 1035 money is very common. But what's interesting about this particular policy is it is not 1035 money. And since it's not 1035 money, and we have this huge discrepancy between the year one premium and the premium that's going to be paid for the next 21 years. And after talking with the client, it became apparent that there was no plan to continue paying close to that $128,000 a year. You know, the plan was just to put in about the 130 and then pay 47 forever. Or for 21 years. And that's a terrible policy design. And the reason it's a terrible policy design is because this single premium of $128,000 is directly related and correlated to the amount of death benefit that you need in order to start this contract. So because of that big $128,000 dump in, we need $3.2 million of death benefit. Well, what drives the fees on these contracts? Well, you better believe it's the death benefit that drives the fees in this contract. It's not the premium, it's the death benefit. And so if you jack up the premium in year one, the IRS is going to require you to buy more death benefit in order to keep this from becoming a modified endowment contract. And in buying more death benefit, inevitably you increase the fees. Now, I have a sinking suspicion that the reason this was positioned is because by increasing the death benefit and the fees, you also increase the commission on the contract. And so, this is a pretty common problem that we see with index life insurance policies that are sent to us for review. By the way, if you want your policy reviewed, if you've been proposed a policy, if you've already purchased a policy and you want that policy reviewed, you can go to our website, leveragewm.com/IUL-review. I'll put a link up here at the top, and you can go there, take a short quiz, and then you'll have a discovery call with someone here in our office that'll just get some information on what you're trying to do with your policy and tell you whether or not it's been set up correctly. And I actually do those reviews. So you have that initial meeting, and then I'll conduct a review going through the ins and outs of what you have, what it can and what it cannot do. But aside from that, this policy, as soon as we got it, we knew it was set up the wrong way. So the way that we decided to fix this, because it's easy to fix a policy that's this bad. But what I thought would be really interesting is, what if we took this $128,000 and split it up, instead of splitting it up over 5 years or 7 years or 10 years, which puts that $128,000 to work for you, relatively soon, and it would require a much lower death benefit. Instead of splitting it up over a shortened time frame like that, which is probably the best way to do it, honestly, what if we just split it up over 21 years? So what if we just very slightly increased the annual premium from $47,000 a year up to around 51 and change? What would that do to the death benefit? And what would that do to the cash value, 15, 20, 30 years down the road? I thought that would be a really interesting way to fix this policy Because why pay $128,000 in year one if you could pay, and then $47,000, if you could pay maybe $51,000 for 21 years and end up with a heck of a lot more cash? I mean, that's a no-brainer. So that's exactly what we did. In fixing this particular policy, we split up that $128,000, and instead of, splitting out over 5, 7, or 10 years, we literally split it up over the full 21-year payment period. So the total premium into this policy, $1,077,867. This is in our design, and it was the exact same in the bad design, $1,077,886. And what's so interesting is just how much better this policy is. So right out of the gate, our death benefit is more than cut in half. We're down to $1.3 million in death benefit, which drastically reduces the fees on this particular contract, and it gets our cash much more efficient. Now, obviously, our year one value is probably not going to be quite as good, but you still have that $128,000, or you have that like $80,000 sitting in an account somewhere because you haven't put it into this policy. So you actually have more liquid cash in this design than in the previous design because we're using less dollars in year one. But let's go back to the bad design and just call out some cash values here, because I want you to see just how drastic this really is. So year 10, $566, year 15, $1 million, year 21, $1.8 million, and then let's do year 25, $2.3 million. So those are the bogeys that we're going to be looking at, and let's just see how it shakes out in a design where we literally tie one hand behind our back and make that $80,000 work for us over 21 years instead of getting it all into the policy at once. Year 10, $604. Okay, so that's pretty close, which that seems about right because we've got a lot less money in the contract at that point in time. In fact, actually, wow, I'm shocked, it's more, $566. Okay, I actually didn't think it was going to be better that early. $566 with $555 paid in. Our design, we had $513 paid in, $604. So we've already been it inside 10 years and we're using less dollars. This is crazy. Year 15, we've paid in $769. We've got $1.13. In the bad design, if we go to year 15, we've paid in $793 and we got $1.041. So we're already outpacing it by a pretty wide margin here. We go to year 21, we've got just over $2 million. Year 21 in the bad design, $1.8 million. So we're talking about $200,000 different. And we've got this money working for us over a longer period of time, meaning we're not taking advantage of the interest that we should be earning on that additional $80-some thousand in premium that didn't go into the policy in year one. And we're beating it by $200,000 in year 21. Are you kidding me? Year 25, $2.3 million in the bad design. Year 25 in the good design, 2.6. We're talking about $300,000 in additional cash value by making your money way more efficient, lowering the death benefit, lowering the fees, increasing your cash growth, making this policy way more efficient. And it's unfortunate because when people get into these policies, a lot of times, you don't know the questions to ask, and you're relying on somebody else to have enough expertise and integrity to give you the right answers and make sure that your policy is set up in a way that benefits you way more than it benefits the agent. And so that's why people come to us every single week. We probably have 10 to 15 new appointments every single week of people that want us to review policies. And the reason they want us to review policies is because they know that they're going to get a fair shake from us. We're going to make sure that these policies are done right, because the one thing about these policies is once they're set, once you've paid that first premium, they're built the way that they are. It's very hard to go back and change your policy if it's been set up incorrectly in the first place. So I hope you can see just how important it is to get a policy that's done the right way. We literally took the exact same amount of dollars. I mean, maybe we're like $20 off. We took the same amount of dollars into a policy, split it up over 21 years, instead of front loading some dollars into year one, which created way too large of a death benefit. And in the end, 30 or 25 years down the road, we end up with $300,000 in cash, additional cash, above and beyond the first design simply by doing this the right way, designing it in a way that favors you. So if you'd like a policy reviewed, something's been proposed to you, you've already purchased a policy, again, go to our website, leveragedwm.com/IUL-review. You can click on the card here that's going to show on the YouTube video, or you can send us an email, info@leveragedwm.com. We'd love to work with you. Make sure that these policies are done the right way. This is our expertise, and we do a lot of it. So if you've been proposed one of these policies, if you have questions about these policies, reach out to us. Hopefully this has been helpful. We're trying to make sure that you get a policy that you're going to end up happy with in the long run. And unfortunately, a lot of these bad designs put forth by agents that are just trying to make as much commission as possible, they aren't going to do that for you. So hopefully this has been helpful. I look forward to talking with you soon. And until next time, take care.